Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today we're going to take a look at William's collections, and he had them divided for me when he sent in the images and the text with it. And he says he has two, beaters and good watches. And it sounds like that's sort of an interesting kind of characterization. And so I sort of followed the same organization that William had. So let's take a look at this collection. It hits every single watch tier that there is. So I think you're going to really enjoy this collection. First of all, we'll start with the beaters. And there's a G-Shock and a couple Seikos, the tuna and turtle. The G-Shock takes out snowboarding, and I don't know, you can take that thing to a demolition derby as a driver. And that's just a good watch to have for especially if you're really active in kind of sports and doing a lot of stuff. Snowboarding, I think, William mentioned was one of the things. The turtle is one of my favorite dials on a Seiko. I really like that. It just, I don't know why, but I do. And this is sort of the Pepsi turtle with the Pepsi bezel. And then the tuna is one in the upper right corner there. Okay, so that's the first group of beaters. The second group, you gotta, it's different. It's sort of interesting. You got a couple quartz watches, the Bulova and the Luminox. The Luminox has a trimium for the glow in the dark on the hands, and the Bulova's it's got very much of a classic look to it. They're both quartz watches, so not say a lot. The Swatch System 51. That's sort of a fun watch. It's another one you can wear just about anywhere. And it has the movement Swatch it's in-house movement that they made for it. And it doesn't, you don't ever service it. You get it and you just wind it up when it needs it. Okay. Now then, this next watch wasn't on William's list. And I saw it, and this is sort of an interesting one. It has sort of like a Bluetooth GPS world time. And around right underneath the bezel on the dial, it has all of the different cities, the 24 cities that make up the 24 hours in the world. And it's called an Oceanus Bluetooth. Now, this one is getting more to the smart watches and so forth. So we're mechanical, but I thought that was awfully, just sort of a cool watch. I mean, especially if I were flying FedEx or something like that, this is the kind of watch I'd want to have. You want to be on time. All right, now here we get into the strong horology. The other ones the beaters were all standard horology and even quartz, which is somewhere else, I guess. And there's two that he has. They're both Rolexes, the Rolex President and the Milgauss. Milgauss, that particular Milgauss just happens to be one of my favorite Rolexes. I've got several favorite Rolexes, and that's one of them. Another one is the Explorer 2 GMT. I like that one a lot too. And I like the Cellini. Not everybody does. I happen to like it though. Oh, and the Air Dweller. That's a neat one. The new Air Dweller is a pretty cool watch. Now the other one is the President, and it's day date, and I'm not sure about the President. Nothing wrong with it. And it's certainly an imposing watch. But when you see the other watches in Williams' collection, that becomes like, where does it fit into the collection? with all of the beaters, I'm not sure about the Milgauss either. The Milgauss is a cool watch. It's the kind of thing I think you could wear that thing anywhere just about. But I wouldn't, not into, snowboarding or anything like that. But I mean, it's sort of like a good utility infielder of a watch. Now, the next group of watches is the Holy Trinity. So here you get in high horology, and to me, this is the best combination of Holy Trinity I've seen. Now, anyone can go out and buy 3 watches that Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe, and Vacheron Constantin say, "See, I got the Holy Trinity," but these are really good choices for the Holy Trinity. First of all, I'm not a big fan of Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, except for this one. It sort of goes back to the roots when they wanted to have a sports watch, sort of a gentleman's sports watch, and they nailed it with that Royal Oak, the first one, stainless steel. That's a beautiful watch. I love that watch, and I think it's a great one. If you can have a sports watch for Holy Trinity, it should be the Royal Oak, and I think that's a great choice. The second one is the Patek Philippe is an annual calendar. That's that's a good watch. William noted that one you could still get for a pretty good price, and if pretty good is just a little north of 20,000. You might be able to get them for less than that, but for annual calendar plus a moon phase, that is a very cool watch, and I like it a lot. The date window at 6 o'clock, I like. It's big enough. A lot of times they have a little bitty date window. The Royal Oak's date window isn't really that big, come to think of it. Okay, so you have a present. You get an annual calendar. Again, one of those watches that has a lot of different applications. I call it a country club watch, but you go to the country club and I don't know, you have a few drinks. I don't know. But you could wear it to a lot of places. It's a very good utility watch. The Vacheron Constantin, I think that's the perfect watch for this collection. In the Vacheron Constantin, the term subdued elegance, and this is a traditional, and it works better, I think, than the Patek Philippe Calatrava. I have a Calatrava, so I can say that. The newer Calatravas have I don't know what they call it. It looks like that coined effect around the edges, and it's not quiet enough for an elegant watch. This traditional is, so like I said, I can't imagine picking a better Holy Trinity than these 3 watches. I think they're perfect selections, and they're just dynamite. I like them all. Okay, the next and final watch gets into Exceptional Horology, and this is an H. Moser Mayu, and it's the newer ones of the same type and everything, I think, are called Endeavors. I think that's the new ones, and I can't tell the difference between this and an Endeavor. They probably just changed their name. H. Moser at sea. I put in their little logo, very rare, because I think that's a really good way to describe them. They don't make a lot of them. They're not that popular, but people who know watches have a lot of respect for this watch. I do, and I have one too. That's one of the reasons I do. But this is a fantastic choice. Right now, you can find some fabulous buys on this watch. And on Friday's video, we took a look at Art's Watch of the Week was the Endeavor, and the Endeavor Small Seconds. And this is pretty much the same thing. I used to call it the Mayu. Man, these you can get for a really good price, under $10,000 for an Exceptional Horology watch. whenever a model is out and replaced with a new model, that's when the price is very good. But look at that. That's a beautiful, beautiful watch. Okay, as I am wont to do with everyone's collection, is what would I suggest? Where would you go next? To me, the next step that I would take on this would be an FP Journe, and I'll tell you why. FP Journe's still alive, at least the last I looked. It's like getting a Picasso from Picasso. Uh, H. Moser has this fabulous kind of vertical integration, and everything is made, including the hairsprings. That's that's a big deal. They make everything there, and they do a very good job of it. They don't produce a lot of them, and they're excellent watches, but they're not like Carey Lannen, Dufour, and FP Journe. Now these are sort of get the artist actual watch, and so that's what I would suggest. And not one of the quartz watches. The quartz watches that FP Journe have, of course, they're interesting. They're fantastic. And I'm not crazy about the aluminum sports line. If you're gonna get a sports watch, that G-Shock is what you want to have. You don't want to be wearing a $30,000 watch, thinking, I'm gonna go out and play rugby in that thing. If you get an FP Journe, what I would get is now this is my own prejudice, okay, and that's because I like hand wound watches or manually wound watches. And to me, the one that I like the best, I happen to have one. I have it in platinum. I'd recommend the ones in yellow or rose gold, whatever they are. And this is a Chronomet Souverain. The Chronomet blues are very popular. Now they're in tantalum, and it's a very hard metal, and it's they're great. But they are very hard to find, oddly enough, because they are popular. And they're cool watches. There's no two ways about that. And they're more versatile. I mean, you can wear that to, with blue jeans, and you have a wide range of things that you can wear them at. The same is true, though, with the Chronomet Souverain. They're in both yellow gold and platinum. And they actually, even though they are higher to begin with, I mean, when you get them at the retail store, you're going to pay more for Chronomet Souverain than you are a Chronomet Blue, okay? But the blues are so popular is that they're higher value. I mean, they're high resale value. So in other words, if you go to buy one, you're not going to find them at the bottom. They're going to be down there, but you'll find a lot more likely to find a really good buy on a Chronomet Souverain. The Octaline are all automatics, and like I said, these are all my prejudices. So, find a good deal, of course, and find something you like. But that's what I would recommend, and this would be. And what I would do, I'm not saying this is what you should do, I would trade in that President. And because one of the things that's true is that Rolexes and Patek Philippe's, I'd hang on to that Patek Philippe. That's a cool Patek Philippe. But I would trade in the President. I don't know. I'd probably, I'd have a hard time ever trading at the Milgauss because I think they're cool watches. But that would be my target, would be an FP Journe. If it didn't have a couple, I would be going after one now. But you have a really good combination of watches. My latest acquisition was this Parmigiani hemispheres because I wanted a world timer, a very flexible one, and this is what this turned out to be. That Oceanus that you got is an incredible world timer, so you got that covered. Um, Perpetual calendars and things like that, especially with something like FP Journal, cost a fortune. I would, like I said, suggest something good, solid watch from FP Journal. Well, anyway, those are my suggestions, and you might say I'd never part with it, my Rolex present in a million years. That's fine. If you want to hang on to it, this was simply one thing you could do. I'm not sure what you do with it now. I mean, if I had the collection you had, I'm afraid the president wouldn't get much this time, because I would be wearing that H. Moser all the time, along with that Patek Philippe and Vacheron Constantine, and I'm sure you do too. That Audemars Piguet Royal Oak is perfect for that aspect of the collection. Anyhow, well, that's my suggestion. I'd like to hear from viewers what your suggestions would be. I don't think William needs a lot of suggestions from anyone because his collection is so good. It's such a just doggone great selection for a very, very fantastic watch collection. Okay, as always, this is an invitation to subscribe if you'd like. And until next Friday, this is Bill Sanders with Watch Art Side, the art and science of watch collection. Hope to see you then.